Hey there, Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Sunday, April 2nd. Today we are looking at the upcoming full moon that will be in Libra midweek. So the moon will be full exact late in the day, April 5th, which is Wednesday, or early on April 6th, depending on your time zone. Mine is West Coast Pacific time anyway. So for me, it's late in the day on Wednesday. But this full moon coming up will be in Libra. Libra is the sign of the peacemaker. It is asking us to think about themes related to peace, balance. How do we bring more balance into our lives? And so we're looking today at how to live peacefully in the midst of change. And this full moon is asking us to think about that. It's asking us to think about we're of course in a bigger picture of a time when things are shifting, changing. There's an experience of upheaval to our norm, or upheavals to our normal, our routine, our expectations are expected, right? So with the planet Uranus in Taurus, we have shakeups and change to our normal. And with that energy, we also have currently, and going with this full moon, we have the planet Venus has made its conjunction with Uranus, but is still in Taurus. And so the energy of Venus in Taurus is also informing this full moon, because Venus rules Libra. It rules both Libra and Taurus. So the planet Venus is kind of highlighted. It's making a big showing this full moon. And so these themes of how we connect with the earth, how we receive, how we work on taking care of ourselves and bringing balance, and what does it look like to find some stability in the midst of shakeup and change. So now also thinking about the whole question of how can we live peacefully in the middle of change, because why not, right? So just because things are unstable doesn't mean we can't feel peaceful. And it's just a reminder that feeling peaceful is a choice. It's not always like a choice in the sense that you are it's always easy, right? It's not like, oh, I could just snap my fingers and change that. But it is a choice in the sense that we can remember, okay, I do have some ability to take a step back, to take a deep breath, to check in with my perspective, how I'm thinking about things, how I'm treating myself, how I'm talking to myself. All those things, we do have the ability to take a step back and take a look at. And that is what this whole YouTube channel is about, right? It's the astrology for unshakable self-care. And so it is literally how we are taking care of ourselves so that we can feel peaceful. And I've had some recent videos on what it looks like, what it means to attend to our needs for rest, for comfort. Last week's Cancer moon was reminding us of the importance of comfort and self-care, because it's that ability to de-stress, to relax, to rest, to feel comforted and nurtured. That is actually what helps us to heal, to regenerate, to repair, to take care of ourselves in ways that allows us to get back to a baseline of wellness and feeling centered within ourselves. So rest, comfort, all that is really important. And when we're thinking about this upcoming full moon and what it tells us about how to bring balance into our lives, it is a reminder that some of the ways that we get stressed sometimes have to do with our fears about what other people think, right? And so Libra, the sign of Libra likes to other people to be happy, right? Libra is a people pleaser. It likes the experience of happiness, of pleasing, of that we're all that everyone is comfortable and happy and relaxed. And that is a kind of balance, but it's also a kind of imbalance, because if we are overly compromising in order to bring peace, to be people pleasing or be the peacemaker in ways where we are compromising ourselves, compromising our own needs, compromising our truth, watering it down, making it more palatable, making our truth into tying ourselves into knots in order to be accepted or liked or whatever it is. So that's not real balance, right? It's not real peace. It's a kind of temporary peace that sometimes works in some situations, but it's not long-term sustainable balance that we need for ourselves and for our lives. And that is in particular what this full moon is bringing up. It's bringing up issues and themes of how we ground, how to sustain the feelings of peace and balance that we want for our lives. The three planets that are in Taurus during this full moon are Mercury, which is how we communicate and think, what kinds of thoughts we're feeding ourselves. Uranus, which is the planet of shakeup and change, and is about finding a new normal, a normal that works better for us, that is more authentic. And then, of course, Venus, which is about how we need to take care of ourselves, how we need to connect with the earth through the senses, feel grounded, take in beauty, receive the things, receive love, right? Receive love and the things that we value that are important in life. So part of it is all these wonderful things that life has to offer, right? Pleasure and joy and beauty. And part of it is our ability to receive those things. So letting them in, letting ourselves feel nourished is part of this as well. So we talked earlier this week too about receiving and the energy of Venus and Uranus coming together, and how that can remind us of ways that we need to open to receiving, and how to work on that video from a few days ago on that topic. So okay, so this week's full moon in Libra is also, so we have these Taurus themes of sustainability, of grounding, of thinking long term. What do we need to create balance? What does it look like to create routines and a new normal for ourselves that we can maintain, so that we can not only experience peace, but also maintain it from day to day, embodying peace, being peace, having a practice of peace that we can live in our daily lives, and a path to walk, right? So we also have, so we've got those three planets in Taurus about themes of grounding and practice and routine. And then we also have the themes of Aries. So this moon cycle began with the new moon in Aries. It will actually also end with a new moon and solar eclipse in Aries. So this Libra full moon is being sandwiched by two Aries new moons, one on either side of it. And the energy of Aries is the energy of action. It is the energy of how we need to move in order to elicit a response or get what we want or accomplish things. It is the need to take action. So all these parts that astrology so beautifully represents, how they all work together as a whole, right? We need to be able to imagine and envision. We need to be able to think and plan. We need to be able to communicate. We need to be able to take care of ourselves and support the physical structures that we want to create. But within all of that, we also need this important component, and that is action steps. So Aries is one of the 3 fire signs that remind us of the importance of action steps. And the beautiful thing, the incredible thing about Aries is the way that it allows us to take action independent of what people think. So the 2 signs that are opposite, Aries and Libra. And when you have a full moon, the sun and moon are opposite. So the sun is in Aries, the moon is in Libra during the full moon. And the energy of Libra is, right, it's the energy of caring, concern about the other. It is about relationship, partnership, cooperation, collaboration. How are we going to do this together? So there is built into the energy of Libra, there is this concern about how the other person is experiencing something, a desire for the other person to be happy, to understand, to have their needs met. And so this sense of caring and concern for the other person comes with that Libra energy. But the beautiful thing about Aries is that it comes from within, right? It's selfish. It's about a sacred selfishness. It's about, I don't care about you. I got to do this for me. And again, the zodiac in its incredible wisdom that is incredibly holistic, right? Because these are all the parts of the whole, reminds us that it's important to have relationship and to have care and concern for other beings, but it's also absolutely essential to be who we are, and so Aries is the energy of that drive to be yourself, to act, to emerge from a place that is nothing but you. It's just your own authentic self, your authentic truth, and your desire to live and to take up space in the world. So, okay, so we've got this Aries sun, Jupiter in Aries, a moon cycle that began with the Aries new moon and ends with the Aries new moon. So this Libra full moon that is coming up this week is a reminder that in order to have balance, we must, and to feel peaceful, we must be able to act spontaneously and authentically. So it means be yourself. You have to be able to be yourself. If you are constantly doing this thing of compromise, of being a doormat, of tying yourself in knots, not to make waves or push people's buttons or do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing, if you're constantly doing that, it creates a kind of paralysis, right? An ineffectiveness of your own self, your own gifts, your own truth. And so we have to have balance. We have to have a good balance between consideration and concern for the other person and what the other person thinks and how they might experience our words, our actions, right? That's important. Like, we don't want to be just completely uncaring about other people. That wouldn't be a good world, not a world I want to live in anyway. But if we're all about the other person and not remembering to live from our authenticity and be who we are, then we don't have real balance. So, okay, so the energy of Aries is what I'm getting at here. The energy of Aries is helping us to feel peaceful, because when we remember, it doesn't matter what the other person thinks. My action comes from within. My need to act, to move, to say things, to be direct, to be spontaneous. It emerges. It springs forth from my inner being, right? From my truth, from who I am. So that need to not care what other people think, to act from a place of act first and think about it later. Like, so so there can be this feeling of peacefulness that we can remember to connect with when we remind ourselves, it doesn't matter what other people think, because this is me, and I need to act. I need to do the things that I do. How else am I going to learn about what it means to be me than by trying things, taking risks, moving forward in the world without holding myself back, constantly worrying about what other people think. Okie doke. So the energy of Libra really is asking us to think about what it means to live peacefully. And when things are changing, we've got the feeling of upheaval that is happening in the soup we live in right now. So we've had Pluto going through Capricorn since 2008. I mean, there's ongoing sort of big picture evolutionary changes for humanity. And now Pluto has gone into Aquarius, where it is bringing shakeup and change. In fact, it's kind of profound to think about the meaning of the planet of transformation being in the sign of shakeup and change, and experiencing the unexpected. So we are having a transformative experience of what it means to embrace change, to understand what change means. For context, and I've had other videos specifically on Pluto in Aquarius, and I'll probably do more, but for context, Pluto hasn't been in Aquarius since the 1770s, 80s. And we didn't even know Pluto existed then, right? It was discovered in 1930. So Pluto, this is the first time in the history of humanity that Pluto is in Aquarius, with us being aware that Pluto is in Aquarius, that Pluto even exists. So now, maybe the average person on the street doesn't know a whole lot about Pluto, but astrologers are very interested in Pluto, and it's a big topic of discussion. And so looking back to the 1770s, 1780s on the planet, what did you notice from that time period? Global themes of revolution, rebellion against authority, rejection of figureheads and authorities who have been in power. The American Revolution, the French Revolution. I'm sure there's other things, it's not my area of expertise, but just thinking back on that time and how what was going on was a shift in where we see our power, and how we see our power, or transforming our power in terms of how we believe ourselves capable of bringing change. So how might that apply to our current time period? And of course, the nature of the future is that we don't know what's going to happen. So I always like to bring back that dose of reality, right? The future is the unknown. Literally, it is where we have not been yet. And so by its nature, there are things we can do to shape it, to participate in the creation of the things we want to see in the future. Okay, so so as we now have Pluto in Aquarius, we have this sort of emerging awareness in human consciousness about our power to bring about change and what that could look like. And themes of equality, freedom, how we can rebel against structures that limit us, that prevent us from experiencing freedom, what it looks like and what it means to see ourselves as peers and co-creators, co-participants in the process of shaping the world that we want to live in. And so what now, thinking about, what are the ideas and the ideals of the past that don't work for us anymore? What ways of thinking do we maybe want to leave in the past and not bring with us into the future? And how do we do that in a way that allows us to also continue to be grounded and to function day to day, right? And so thinking about what a new normal looks like, because if you just throw away everything, you don't really have any way to operate. So we need both. We need again, there's that theme of bringing balance, right? Ability to operate, have something to ground us, something tangible way of doing things, but also with that, bringing in new ideas, new ways of being, new possibilities, bringing shakeup to the things that we have always assumed things just had to be that way. And it's like, well, yeah, maybe they don't, right? Maybe we don't have to listen to the king anymore. That from the 1770s. And yeah, like what does that mean for us in this time period? So that's, big picture, but bringing it back to the personal and your life and your own self-care. It's caring for yourself as you nurture these ways that you are changing and the evolutionary processes that are happening through your own personal life, the issues and situations that show up in your life, the ways you are learning about yourself and understanding what can change in your life, what needs to heal, how to do that, what are new possibilities about how you could think about challenges in your life, and so on. So letting go of old ways of being, but you have to have something new to step into, or else you just feel unmoored, unhinged, right? So there's this energy of Saturn in Pisces, of Neptune in Pisces, and this feeling of letting yourself be carried at the same time as you are remembering that you have choices about how to steer within that. So in the ocean, right, the currents are going to take you where the current, and you might as well surrender to that, because you can't control the ocean, right? At least not if you're in a little boat. Maybe there's, anyway, we won't go into that, but if you're in a little boat and you're in the ocean and the current is carrying you, that's, you got your little oar, your paddle, right? And so what is it how can you steer, right? And what are the stars telling you? How can you navigate this amazing journey that you're on by looking at the stars, by thinking big, by connecting with the big picture and asking this bigger picture of wisdom, like, what is my life about? What is important to me? What gives me meaning? What reminds me that that this is all a incredible experience of discovery, of mystery, of learning that life brings, right? It's just such a rich opportunity to, and some of that opportunity is going to lie within the challenges that we experience in our lives. So anything that is showing up in your life is inviting you to shift your perspective, to shift your way of being, maybe change some beliefs that you have, some feelings of limitation that you have around that, and to see it differently, to see how there is possibility there, how you can open your mind to new ways of thinking outside the box, and how some of those possibilities might be able to support you or give you comfort or help you on this journey. So this week's full moon in Libra is reminding us that we can find this place of peace even when things feel chaotic, tumultuous, confusing, and to remember that in the center of this, and this Aries moon cycle is reminding us that in the center of all this is you. It's yourself. It's who are you here to be, and how can you be you and do your life and live and move and take actions in a way that feels good. You have a body, so you can move. So there's something really important about doing that. And so starting new projects, moving things forward, taking action, not letting yourself be silenced or feeling like you have to please other people or meet some expectations, but just getting out of some of those old mindsets about how you have to do things, to open to and invite in new possibilities, new feeling of freedom, and of ability to take care of yourself within that. So peace also means feeling peaceful, feeling relaxed. So my favorite tool in the moment for coming back to yourself, for getting yourself out of stress, of fearful thoughts, anxiety, is the breath. And so, there's so many great breath work options and techniques out there, but the simple one is just take a deep breath. You can always start there. And then if you need another one, take another one. So Libra is an air sign. Bring air into your body, because it is in that experience of pause that new possibilities can enter our awareness. And so a deep breath, a moment of pause, even just an allowing yourself to be where you are instead of fighting it, right? Like maybe there's some answer or solution popping into your head, and that's great, but maybe not. Maybe you just feel what you feel. So letting yourself be in that moment, allowing yourself to surrender to what you are experiencing and feel it. Sometimes that is where the freedom is. Sometimes that is where the feeling of peace is in grief or anger or loss or sadness, or just feeling what you feel, even if you don't know what it is. It's our body's ability to feel things is also part of what help us release and let go, so that we can be the creative, inspired, thoughtful, loving beings that we are meant to be here, that we are here to be. So deep breath, remembering to breathe, take that pause. Maybe you need some longer pauses to take time to do yoga, stretch, meditate, go for a walk. All of these things are ways to get yourself out of the stressful thoughts and into your body, and into the present moment in a way that opens you to the bigger picture, where there are solutions. They are just there. They are waiting for you to relax enough so that they can pop into your mind. They're knocking at the door. They're saying, okay, you gotta hear me knocking. You have to slow down and calm down your mind enough to hear me knocking. So that's what we're doing. And feeling peaceful is a practice, right? It takes practice. It takes risk taking, trial and error, remembering to be yourself, remembering it doesn't matter what other people think, remembering, we are all just bumbling through life, right? Just figuring it out as we go, and give yourself permission to do that, to be that, and to love yourself in the process. So thank you so much for being here. I am Marina Orms. You can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com. I've got options for working with me. If you are looking for some insight into how this full moon resonates in your own chart, what areas of life it is showing up in, you can schedule a mini reading. I have those available at astrologyheals.com. That's a 10-minute recording, quick bite into, how this moon is impacting you, or some other question that you may have that we can focus on in 10 minutes. And I send you the recording, so it's super easy. And it's a great way to get a taste of how this work can impact you and your own chart and your own life, and how it can show up for you, and giving you insights that help you work with it in positive ways and take care of yourself even more deeply. So thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to subscribe if you are enjoying these videos. I am here every day with astrology for unshakable self-care, giving you the insights and wisdom of the planets, and connecting them with your own insights and wisdom, and how those two can work together to awaken new possibilities. And I thank you so much for your support. Your likes and comments are awesome, and letting your friends know who might be interested. So thanks, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.